Hello everyone, I am Hacklebeast and I am casting group number 6 of the Noise Amateur Star League round of 32 group stage action. For game number 1 we have ASL Toka versus oh no, him again. Versus ASL Dyslexic, who I have nothing against personally, I just can't spell his name. Because I can't spell originally, but then he spells it purposefully deceptively, and it makes it really hard. Because I can go Toka really quickly. It's like that. Whoops, not A-I-L-A-S-L. That's really easy, but no, Dyslexic. Dyslexic is not easy. Alright. ASL.DSYXELIC. I feel like I'm installing a new game on my computer and I'm just reading an incoherent code off. Alright. So, Toka will be the white Protoss, and Dyslexic will be the blue Protoss. This is a group of all Protosses. Dyslexic is a race picker, but he race picks PvP purposefully. I don't know, but we're getting a lot of PvP today. I hope you like C-rank PvP, because if you don't like C-rank PvP, might not be the cast for you. Alright, so, the map is Circuit Breaker, which is going to be a really nice and big map. No particularly important geographical features for PvP, with the exception of the entrance to the natural. There is, thank you Dyslexic for coming and clearing this out for me, there is these double bridges over here, which are the more immediate way, but can get units a little bit too stuck if we're getting a little bit later into the game and you start to get to like that 8-ish goon level. It can really start to be hard to cross that. The other option is go up and around over a high ground and then come in from this side. But that takes a little bit longer, and you're still not in the best of positions to attack. But other than that, this is a very wide open map, so geography shouldn't be playing a huge role in this game. Alright, so we have Toka going Nexus first and 2 Gateway follow-up, as opposed to Gateway Forge follow-up. And we have Dyslexic also going Nexus first. Both of them went blind Nexus first. But the difference is that Dyslexic will be getting the Forge down instead. I think that's going to just work a little bit in Toka's favor, because the cannons will obviously be up before Toka can go for a Zealot attack. But after the Zealot attack comes in, does no damage, and then pulls back, having that extra gateway is going to be more beneficial than the cannons. And you don't have an economic benefit, because your opponent also 2-gated. So I think Toka gets a little bit of a build order advantage with both of them going Nexus first. Anyway, we'll see exactly how many cannons Dyslexic throws down. He should realize that he doesn't really need to worry about it, and 1, possibly 2 cannons is going to be enough. What would actually be quite cute is if Toka, if Dyslexic only builds 1 cannon and then guards it with Zealots, it won't be enough for 5 Zealots to kill, but he could try to go for a 5 Zealot run-by. That would tickle my fancy. I would like to see the 5 Zealot slow run-by in PvP. Alright, I need to switch back to this one. There we go. So, actually, he has a scout off with the probe, and I guess he doesn't want to challenge it. He doesn't know how many cannons are there, and with only 1 cannon, he might be able to get away with something. It would be kind of close. 3 Zealots in a cannon versus 5 Zealots. Probably still going to lose, but you might have a chance to at least force your opponent to build more cannons. I'm surprised he isn't at least threatening. But, little damage can be done anyway. So, it's not a huge issue by not doing anything here. And then the only difference in their builds is that Dyslexic is going to have slightly faster tech because he went for the more immediate cyber core, and he's actually going to have +1 very quickly, which is interesting. +1 being the first gas purchase he had. I'm pretty sure he started +1 before starting that goon. So, very, very fast +1 for Dyslexic, but Toka has an extra gateway, so he's going to have more units out. Already has a forge down, and we'll be doing that in case of a DT follow-up, but that is not something he needs to worry about. And Dyslexic's actually going to move out here with 3 Zealots and a Dragoon. He must not have a scout off on his opponent, because that's not going to do anything at all. But it's not going to be any detriment either moving out. So, if your units really have no purpose, there's not a whole lot of harm in sending them out like this. They can just pull back if you need to. And, I mean, some goons might be able to pick off slow zealots as they retreat, but otherwise you can just pull back. Toka does manage to just barely get to the other side of the bridge so that the zealots don't get bottlenecked. Otherwise that would have been a kind of an odd engagement. Despite Toka having more zealots, it would have been 2 zealots versus 3 zealots. And Dyslexic might have been able to do a little bit of damage. It looks like they're going to try to go for a snipe on the Dragoon, or at least push it back a little bit. The Dragoon with good micro could have harassed these zealots a little bit, but I don't think that he could have possibly fired fast enough to kill one of them off, and Toka's actually just going to turn around. Toka's going to have a lot of zealots, actually. Just 5 initial zealots isn't rare for the type of build he went for. In fact, it's absolutely standard, but normally you throw away those 5 zealots and then go for just a pure goon army. But he's going to start off with a nice pre-bank of zealots. I wonder if that might encourage him to go for a little bit faster of speed to really get benefit out of the zealots, and then go transition into a more well-rounded army sooner rather than later. Dyslexic moving out again, this time with a bit bigger of a force, but Toka also has a slightly larger force. I think Dyslexic might be better served going up and around, although Toka only has 3 goons, so it might not be necessary, but I think better play rather safe than sorry in this case. And yeah, it looks like Dyslexic will be going up onto the high ground pod, then down here and come across. Just double bridges have a long infamous history in Brood War. Just bad things happen when you try to cross double bridges. It looks like Dyslexic's actually going to have a little bit of a flank go off here. His unit's coming in from 2 directions, and Toka's actually coming across the bridge. He wanted to try to punish these Dragoons, but his army is actually going to be the one caught completely out of position now, as his army is really fragmented now. The double bridges are really going to hurt him in this engagement. Dyslexic gets a great angle of attack. He's going to kill off a lot of these Dragoons. Reinforcements coming in from the back anyway. +1 is finished. That's also going to be a huge boon. There's only 1 can down from Toka. That's not going to help out a lot, and I think Dyslexic with this attack, with this very nice surrounded Toka with a little bit of a mistake there, stepping forward, caught in a really bad position, is going to lose this game very quickly. As Dyslexic moves in, there's the GG. Very nice by Dyslexic. Alright, so ASL is OSL style. Everybody plays everybody else at some point. So Toka's not sent to the losers game. He's just going to play 2 more sets versus our other 2 competitors. But we're going to see those other 2 competitors now as they play their first games against each other. Alright, so we have ASL Muka, hope that's how you pronounce Muka. It's Polish, so really just anybody's guess how you pronounce that one. As the green Protoss and Oxyates, what? It's probably a good way to pronounce that, but my brain is not seeing it. Oxyates? My mouth does not want to go ace and then ty, and then put them together. Like, my tongue does not move in that direction. I'm gonna call him Oxy, because I like short names to begin with. Alright. So, Oxy versus Muka. Oxy is teal, Muka is green, and yeah. As I said, every match in this is going. Every match of this group is a PvP because everybody plays PvP. Well, Muka searching out for the early proxy. That was quite. That was a pretty early proxy search. Heading up into this expansion. Going for that deliberate of a place to search out that quickly would lead me to believe that he has been proxied there before. And is a little bit nervous about having to deal with proxy there again. But this game, neither player going to go for 12 necks. 12 necks on this map isn't the best of decisions. Not only because it's a 3-player map, making it a little bit riskier, but because this map already has a backdoor expansion that you can take very safely if you want to. There's really not a need to go for that early front nexus when you could just take the one in the back. Anyway, both players will be scouting each other out last. Muka will get the slightly faster scout, but not see anything particularly alarming. Alright. Cybercore down. Ooh. Muka losing his early probe and mortified. Absolutely distraught at such a micro mistake. Wow, he wasn't even attacking the Zealot. The Zealot doesn't have any shield damage. He just really messed up. Oh, that's unfortunate. So, we'll see if Oxy can keep his probe alive a little bit longer. Looking at the Cybercore, that was what I originally came here to see before the probe died. Cybercore going to be a bit later for Oxy for whatever reason. I'm gonna just build order discrepancies. And, oh, actually it's not just for whatever reason. He built 2 Zealots, where Muka only built 1. This is a map where early aggression can be quite effective, just because these are pretty big chokes, and this is especially a big choke and there's no ramp to help out. So if you go for early Zealots, you can have a nice advantage in some games. Muka did build 1 early Zealot, but opted not to go for the other one. And will he catch the probe? Oh, nice dodge by Oxy. Gonna get out of there. So, range on the way for both players. Muka has sent a second probe of his own, and with Oxy's later Dragoon, it should be able to live for a while here. The Dragoon now pops out. Oxy needs to get away. Is he going to be able to dodge the Zealots? No. Is this a second scouting probe? Unfortunate. And Muka, alright. So Muka's going for a 3-gate. There is transitions out of a 3-gate, but 3-gate is pretty aggressive here. So Muka's gonna really turn it on and try to hit Oxy, possibly immediately before Oxy could get a Reaver out. As Roxy getting a Robo Facility now and throwing down a second gateway. So Muka's definitely gonna have the gateway advantage for a while here. We'll see if he's able to use it and overwhelm his opponent with goons. As I said, no ramp and very big chokes means that these kind of attacks can be quite effective if you can't use the defender's advantage to compensate for for much of a discrepancy in goon numbers. And I'm a little bit surprised he's attacking this soon. I thought he'd wait at least for 1 production round of his gateways before moving in, but he does have a goon advantage because Oxy built 2 Zealots. Oxy needs to be careful not to let his Zealots get too far forward. If the Zealots are being attacked, he definitely wants to be getting shots off with his goon at the same time. The 2 Zealots are trying to close in, and it looks like he will in fact lose both of his Zealots. The Dragoons... No, the Dragoons are back off, huh? He had a little bit of a chance there. I'm surprised he didn't press it. Oxy has built the robo facility and the robo support. He's going to skip observer tech. He didn't scout a lack of DTs, so he's going a little bit in the dark here, but it could possibly be because of how aggressive his opponent's being and notice there were no Dragoons cut. So either way, that's definitely going to help to go for the faster Reaver instead of waiting for an OBS, but will it be soon enough? It's 4 goons on 4 goons, now 3 on 3, but the Zealot's going to make a huge difference here, forcing Oxy to micro in ways that are not the most optimal. But Muka needs to, he needs to keep moving his goons. He needs to keep getting shots off on anything. Pushing Oxy back as far as possible is going to be great. It exposes up the probe line if he wants to come in with other units. And Muka stepping forward really far into his base here, taking out a lot of these Dragoons. The probes are being pulled now. They're going to try to get us around on the goons. The goons are a little bit pressed up against the wall here, but he can micro them pretty well. Actually, the probes are only attacking just a few of the Dragoons. A lot of them aren't firing. That's a mistake from Oxy. Now, that's the kind of surround he needs to do. Lots of damage to these goons before they can kill too many of them. It's really a numbers game here. If he can kill off the Dragoons fast, he'll be in a pretty good position. He won't be in a good position, but he'll at least be okay. But if he loses all these goons because of Muka's micro, going to try to snipe the shuttle. A nice decision there, and it will be going down. GG from Oxy before the Reaver gets out, and Muka does not even need many reinforcements from the 3 gates to take that game very quickly. Nice job by him. Alright. So, game number 3 on Heartbreak Ridge. This is Noise ASL, sponsored by Noise and Sail. Thank you to those guys. Giving some of the lower ranked players a chance to be in a competitive league and display their stuff. Alright. So, in the right position, we have Oxy as the yellow Protoss, the loser of the last game. And in the left-hand position, we have a Dyslexic, the man who I need to spend literally 30 seconds making sure that I spell his name correctly. D-Y-S-X-E-L-I-C. Not 2 C's, just 1 C. There we go. And he is blue. White. There we go. Alright, so it is in fact a PvP. It is in fact on Heartbreak Ridge. Dyslexic was the winner of the first game, which he won with a nice flank and a very fast +1. Oh. Okay. I thought he wasn't mining with that probe, and having one of your probes this early not mining would have been a huge mistake, but no. Just wanted to place the as absolutely early as possible anti-manor pylon. Anyway, so yeah, good flank. Went for 12 next last time. And his opponent was Oxy, who lost to an attack. It was an attack. It wasn't an all-in. It was hardly even a timing attack. At least the beginning of it wasn't. It was supposed to get in before Reavers were done, and he did have that, but Reavers were coming out particularly early anyway. Anyway, Oxy's going a little bit high with his probe here. It could just be to scout out, just to make sure that there are no gateways being built there by Dyslexic. Is Dyslexic going to go for 12 next again? Be kind of surprising on a 2-player map? No. Getting his gateway now. And Oxy is as well, both players with assimilators. Oxy's assimilator significantly faster. And it could be just because Dyslexic had the probe sitting here for a little while. And you can see the difference was in the assimilator timings. He's already managed to get like 3 loads of gas before Dyslexic's finished. But that was just that little bit of timing just sitting there. If he had been sitting there for a long time to the point where he forgot that one of his probes was mining, that definitely would be a game-changing thing. Alright. 2 zealots for Dyslexic is Oxy. Oxy has 1 zealot out, and it looks like he's not going to build another one. He could wait for the Cybercore, but that is a long time to not spend money. Anyway, Dyslexic. Dyslexic did throw down the Manor Pylon. Trapped 2 probes, which is nice, causing other ones to go around back. Probably going to be worth it. Yeah. With the if you cancel the Manor Pylon, you only need to stop 3 deliveries, and blocking 2 probes like that, Manor Pylon pays for itself. You do have to consider that you're tying up 100 minerals you can't use until after you cancel it, but it's worth it most of the time. So, Dyslexic with a 3rd Zealot? Wow, that's going to be a very late Cyber Core. It's not even done where Oxy has started his goon range, and the goon's pretty close to coming out. Interesting. I don't know. This map also doesn't have ramps, and no ramps immediately means that early pressure is stronger, but at the same time, this is a much finer choke than we saw in Medusa, so it's not going to be as big of a threat on that map, where we saw players also building lots of early zealots. Anyway, scouting probe goes down for Dyslexic. No more Manor Pylons for him. Unlikely he would have thrown one down anyway. Oh. He cancelled one of the Zealots? It looks like he cancelled one of the Zealots. Yeah, 3 Zealots this early would have been a little bit excessive. I guess he just made a little bit of a mistake there. So, 3-gate... Well, a 3-gate build from Dyslexic. This is what Oxy lost to pretty much verbatim last game. I mean, yeah, it was this attack. 2 Zealots and then 3 goons with a 3-gate follow-up. It just killed Oxy. That would be quite a sad way to go out to the same kind of attack twice in a row. The probe will get in here to scout. He does in fact see all the gateways. The Dragoons were not quite fast enough to turn around to kill it before it gets the scout off. Entire army being brought back to deal with that probe. There was no chance for that probe to escape. Well, Oxy knows what's coming. We'll see if he can do something a little bit better this time around. And he's going to have 3 gateways of his own a little bit faster, as Dyslexic waited a little bit longer for his attack to come out. Once again, going for the fast robo, so this time the Reaver might be in time, but he didn't start a shuttle and put it way back in the corner here. So it's going to take a really long time for the Reaver to actually walk to join up with the rest of his army. Pylon has been thrown down in the front. That can take a little bit of shots. Possibly he wants to add on a shield battery too. Indeed, he is going to add on a shield battery. Interesting. It's not going to quite finish in time for the beginning of the battle, but it could finish in time for the end of it. We'll see. Dragoons as well is coming in. It's going to be dead even numbers for both teams, but that pylon, if it detracts enough hits, could be a quite big advantage. Really, this is just going to come down to the micro. 2 probes coming forward to attack, but the shield battery has finished. It starts with 100 energy. That's enough to heal a lot of shields. And now it doesn't have any energy, so that was as many shields as it could heal. But more goons coming in for Dyslexic. He did finish his 3 gateways faster, so he's going to have a little bit of advantage before Oxy can start producing off of all of them. He's coming in, he's killed off he's killed off one of the probes and the Zealots, but now the Dragoons are going to be forced back. That's 200 minerals. That did not do a whole lot in that battle, unfortunately for him. And he had the production to be making more, and he's not making a Reaver. Oh, no, he's not making a Reaver. That's going to make it really hard to defend here. Dragoons can come up onto the high ground here and make it safe for the other Dragoons to approach to take out that pylon. That pylon will actually block out the Dragoons. He's just trying to buy himself a little bit of time, but he started that Reaver so late, he's actually going to have to buy himself a lot of time. Now, Dyslexic's a little bit timid here, going through the gap because it can be hard, but he has so many more goons, it's probably not going to matter. With pretty good micro, he can get through. He's going to have even numbers, though, because he's not including the ones on the high ground, and in fact, Dyslexic is going to lose a lot of units here to Oxy, because Oxy is focus firing down, and that's a huge difference. They're trading 4 goons for 1, but here come more Dyslexic reinforcements, and a lot of Oxy's Dragoons are injured, so they're going to fall pretty quickly here. Oxy's forced to pull a lot of probes. The Reaver's finally done, but it needs to walk all the way over there, but I won't quite get there in time. The probes will, in fact, be enough with goon support. He did not lose any probes in that engagement, and the final goon will pull back without the Reaver's help. Oxy, was he blocked here? It looks like he was blocked here with the Dragoon because all of them were just bugging out. Oh, if he made that mistake, that would be huge, not having those 6 extra Dragoons that could have been there. I thought he just wanted to stop the attack anyway. But if he wanted to continue it and he was blocked a la Jadong style, Oh, man. Well, the attack's over now. That Reaver's just going to be too hard to deal with. He could try to snipe it because it doesn't have a shuttle, but that's a pretty risky move. You could lose a lot of Dragoons and end up not getting it if Oxy's on top of it. Looks like he's going to sit down the pylon once again. It'd be funny if he tried to shut down the shield battery once again. But yeah, that Reaver is in a great position where it is just far enough behind the Dragoons and behind the pylon that the Dragoons and Dyslexic are just going to have to eat so many shots to get in. And here we go. They're moving in. They're going to try to snipe the Reaver, and that's a pretty good snipe. He is going to sacrifice three or four Dragoons to get it, though, but the rest of the Dragoons are coming in. It looks like, no, Dyslexic can't win this fight. Oxy's reinforcement is going to be enough, and Dyslexic forced to pull back with some injured Dragoons here. Oh, what is Dyslexic's tech looking like? He does have his Robo down, but instead of Reaver, he's going to get a shuttle. Excuse me, instead of Reaver, he's going to get observers. He's building a shuttle. But I don't see the Robo support, so I'm not sure what he's going to do with that shuttle. It could just be a very preemptive shuttle, far beating the Reaver to the battlefield. Or it could be for some kind of weird elevator play. There is opportunity for that, as this is a very, very small point to jump over, and a pretty big main, so your opponent won't realize it. Observer coming in here. No observer out for Oxy, so he won't know. And yes, he is going to rebuild the shield battery. Alright. Double shield batteries. Good stuff. But he doesn't know that his opponent's expanded. And he needs to attack. He really needs to attack because he's invested so much money into this army. He now has a Reaver again, but he can't move out with the Reaver, and that's the problem. He doesn't have a shuttle. If he had a shuttle, he might be able to do some really good damage here. Okay. Robo support has finished, and yeah, it looks like that shuttle is just going to be much faster than the Reaver. But now, finally, Oxy's going to expand. That expansion is so much later than Dyslexic's, and Dyslexic is going to zoom ahead in supply in just a little bit here. They're tied even now. And still no observatory for Oxy. That's getting to the point where you can almost start to call that a mistake, just because scouting information is so nice to have in this matchup. So nice to have in any matchup, but in this matchup, it really lets you know exactly what your opponent is doing, so that they don't get a Nexus up a good 2.5 minutes before you do. Anyway, Reaver loaded up. Is he just gonna use it for defense? Yeah, it looks like he's just gonna use it for defense now. Oh, no, we're moving out. We're moving out. I don't know. They have about even Dragoon counts, so the attack still might be successful, but if Dyslexic had just waited, I think that he could have gotten himself a bigger army to attack his opponent with. Or waited for his opponent to attack him and had a defender's advantage. I'm not sure it's necessary to try to engage here. And oh no! The shuttle! Oh! Very lucky. Oxy was not focusing down the shuttle, so the shuttle is going to live, and now he's going to start doing Reaver micro. The shuttle is sniped, but the Reaver's going to live. The shuttle getting a little bit too far ahead for Oxy too, but there's no Reaver in it either. And these Reavers are both going to do a lot of damage to both sides, but Dyslexic's Reaver getting far more damage off. Dyslexic now stepping forward to pick off Oxy's Reaver, and Oxy's going to be forced to retreat. He does have a shield battery back here, but shield battery does not compensate for the fact that your opponent has double the amount of Dragoons and a Reaver. Oh no. Oh no, Oxy. Reavers, man, they do so much damage. And Dyslexic goes 2-0. So, Dyslexic 2-0, Oxy 0-2. Dyslexic very likely to get out, and Oxy very likely not to. But it does somewhat depend on the other groups. Again, this is OSL format, so we'll have to see how everybody else does. Wait. Stream's bad? There's a cut on the left. Yeah, there's a cut on the left. If that's the only thing, that's fine. I just want to make sure that it isn't, like, there's part of it you can't see. But if it's just off-center, then that's how it's supposed to be. Because I'm awesome like that. Yeah. Game number 4. Alright. So, We have ASL Muka as the purple Protoss. And we have ASL Toka as the blue Protoss. Based on past results, we know if Muka wins this game, he'll be up 2-0. And, excuse me, he'll be up 2-0. And he will certainly advance along with Dyslexic. And on the same token, if Toka loses, he'll go down to 0-2 and will certainly be eliminated. However, if Toka wins, then the two players will be 1-1. And there is a chance that either of them could advance, based on the remaining games. At the same time, Toka playing for not only for his own life, but playing for his fellow winless player. The loser of the last game needs Toka to win here to still have a chance. Anyway, we're back on Circuit Breakers. That nice big map. Is Toka going? It looks like Toka. No. It looked like Toka was going to go for a 12 next again, but just threw down the Lake 8-way. He was up at 200 minerals. Could be slightly put off by how his first game with the 12 necks went. But Muka also going for Gateway first. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying for your opponent to be that much ahead of you on the first building, but whatever. It's fun. Yeah, I will in fact be streaming ISL immediately after this. Like, immediately after this. So we put this pretty dang close to ISL. So, fingers crossed at finishing time. Yeah. But ISL's supposed to start in a half hour, so if C rank PvP isn't your thing, then there's going to be some really good games for ISL today. I'm really excited. Alright. So, both players with Cybercores, correct? Yeah, both players with Cybercores. Once again, Muka's is now... That's a pretty big difference between the two. That's almost enough time to get a Dragoon out. Like, not quite, but half a Dragoon out. We'll see. Muka's... both players' scouting probes still alive, doing a good job of not being killed off by the initial zealot. Toka's is significantly later, though, not because of, not just because he built it late, but because he built an, wait, no, he didn't build an extra zealot. His opponent built an extra zealot, and yet his cybercore is still later. Man, that is pretty bad. What's up with that? He did get an extra gateway out, but that doesn't explain why his opponent had 2 zealots and a cybercore faster. Gateway was after that. Anyway, Dragoon out for Muka, so Toka needs to get his probe out of there. Is the Dragoon going to be able to... Oh, what? That zealot did not attack. Very lucky probe there. And it looks like Toka's Dragoon did manage to get the scouting kill. So, in the battle of the scouting, Toka has won, as his probe will be returning home. Looking for the first signs at tech. There we go. Both players going 2-gate and then something, but Muka with a much faster robo facility, as Toka hasn't started anything. It's just 2 gateways. This probe's gearing up to throw down something. It could be extra gateways. He could just go for a really strong 3/4 gate attack, or it could be that tech. It will in fact be tech, but just consider how much later that is compared to Muka's. Muka's almost going to finish it, where Toka's has just barely started. Is that quite enough to influence a battle? Maybe. Possibly. It will be enough to influence the battle if Muka was to go for fast Reavers and Toka went for fast Observers. But nope, Muka will be going Observers first. So, no offensive options. Alright. Robocilly finishing up. We'll see what Toka goes for beyond that. He might... he really doesn't need the Reaver. He has so many units at the top of his ramp that there's no way Muka can break up that. That is a very solid wall of goons. And is Muka not? No. Muka's not throwing down the Robo, so his Robo is going to... excuse me, the support bay. The support bay is going to be quite late for him whenever he does get it. He could have had that a while ago. Toka now getting an observatory of his own, as he does not know whether his opponent went for Templar or not. Alright. Well, yeah, it's... I guess we're gonna have a little bit of a stare down here. Toka might be able to be the aggressor here, as his army is a little bit stronger, and he has a little bit of a supply lead. 56 compared to 49, but that's not that significant of a supply lead. And his opponent should have the tech advantage, although he hasn't gotten that robo facility down yet. Now starting the shuttle, though, so it's probably on the way. Observer out from Yuka, going to be able to scout out and not see anything particularly interesting. Needs to be careful to avoid this observer, though, as the Dragoons might be able to pick it off quite quickly. Robo support done, and Toka is getting a shuttle, so both players are going to have similarly timed Reavers. And yeah, I don't know, maybe Muka could expand here? If he went for an expansion, it would essentially be a sneaky expansion, because he just kind of has to hope that Toka doesn't attack. Toka, on the other hand, doesn't seem too keen on moving down his ramp anytime soon, and even his first observer is hanging very far back with his army. He's playing this horribly defensively. Maybe he'll move out as soon as his first Reaver's done, but range is done now for Toka. I assume it's done for Muka as well. Yeah, range is done for him. And Muka's moving back now. I think he saw this army size. He lost Observer in this area, so if he was paying attention, he'd know how large his opponent's army is. Shuttle done, and Reaver is going to be finishing up from Muka as well. So we're going to have similarly sized armies. It's going to come down to the micro between the two players if Toka was to move out. As they are similarly timed Reavers, I don't think Muka would have time to get out another Reaver anyway. He hasn't started one. But Muka's thinking about being the aggressor instead, moving out with quite the sizable force now with a Reaver. Toka has moved down to the bottom of his ramp, and it looks like he wants to expand. He might want to expand. Still, that small supply lead for Toka, 90 compared to 78. Muka needs to be careful here. Still getting a little bit ahead of his army as they had to come around the cliff, and he needs to wait for the rest of his army to come in. He only has half his army here. The rest of the army's coming in. I don't know why Muka's going for it, but he has a smaller army to begin with, and it's coming in piecemeal. This should be an overwhelming victory for Toka here. The Dragoons step forward to take out the shuttle. Reaver inside, and yeah, that's a really bad attack for Muka. I guess he wasn't expecting Toka to have come down the ramp. He was just gonna have his entire army move to here, then get ready to move up the ramp, and then what? Toka came down the ramp? Yeah, he's not allowed to come down the ramp. He has to stay at the top of the ramp. That's how this works, damn it. But no, Toka throwing out the curveball by being on the opposite side of the ramp. Well, now both players are expanded here, but Muka's expansion is in quite the jeopardy, as Toka's moving out with 2 Reavers and a shuttle, and Muka's on the other side of the double bridge, meaning that retreat could be very dangerous for him. He might lose a lot of units. You got to get those Reavers in the battle, though. No, Toka doesn't want to engage there. A little bit put off by the fact that he got a little bit surrounded here. I still think he might be able to get. I still think he has an opportunity to have a really nice engagement, even though it seems like he has fewer Dragoons. He just needs to use those Reavers. Those Reavers are such a big advantage here. And it looks like he's engaging a little bit smaller the pack of the army. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage as they try to retreat over the double bridge. Doing a lot of damage to some of them, only picking off one, though. And it looks like Muka's sending back the other ones to rejoin his original force. He does have a Reaver out now, shuttleless, though. Where is the rest of Toka's army? Because he has more supply, yet his army doesn't look bigger. Anyway, Observer's going to see a pack of Dragoons out here. That's only half the pack, though. If Toka wanted to engage that, he could kill it off. But no, Toka's going to play it really passively and just pull back. I think he had a great opportunity there, but instead it's going to allow Muka to get his expansion up. And his expansion... Well, here comes Toka's population, so it's only a little bit faster, not significantly, essentially even economies. With Toka having a 13 supply lead, it's nice. 13 supply lead is nice. Not game clinching, not putting you in a position where you're feeling you can't lose, but feeling a little bit more comfortable. It just takes a little bit of that edge off. Well, there's a lot of probes coming now. Oh, Reaver Grass. Doesn't look like you got any probes, though. As we saw, all the probes come down. It wasn't like a big hole in the probe line where a Reaver might got a shot off, but we can see how many kills he got once it drops. We're trying to get to the point in the game where players need to consider adding in some other units. The armies are getting a little bit too big for pure goon with Reaver support to be effective. You need to add in some speed lots, need to add in some Templars, maybe Archons. Coming up pretty soon here. It's something that players should at least be considering. There we go. There's a Citadel. So that will either create speed lots or Templar or Archons. Unless it was DTs. Or he just wants the Templar Archives to get +2 attack. Pretty unlikely, considering that he doesn't even have +1, but who knows? Could be. Anyway, big attack from Yuka up here, but he's going to be coming up the ramp, and a lot of his units are getting bottlenecked here. Even though Toka has a much smaller force, he should be able to do a lot of good damage here. Oh, losing one of the Reavers. So, even though I think he actually managed to kill more Dragoons, but losing that Reaver means that Toka's going to win the battle, even with a significantly smaller force. And now Muka's just going to ignore it. He's going to go over the double bridge. Can he get all of his units across the double bridge while Toka's out of position? Toka's actually scrambling to get back here, but Muka's stepping forward. He's ignoring day one StarCraft stuff about double bridges and attacking over them and being flanked. It just doesn't matter when you can aim move goons. Goons are so good at crossing double bridges, apparently. Not really. Actually, most of the forces died, and he lost his Reavers, and Toka did lose his shuttle, but these Reavers aren't going to die. So, yeah. That seems like it should have gone a lot worse for him, but it's not going to be that horrible. Alright. Well, Citadel's done. Not getting speed, though. And no Templar Archives, so probably just more worrying on repopulating his army after that engagement. Both players are trying to take a third at the same time. Very similarly timed Nexuses. Both of them seeming pretty vulnerable. Trying to keep an eye on where that dropship went. Yeah, this one from Yuka. He seems to be getting pretty aggressive with it. He might need to keep it around a little bit more. More Reavers in that fight could have been quite useful. But Toka will be shutting down Muka's. He does cancel everything so he can get that money back. But if he doesn't do anything, Toka's going to be able to get the expansion much faster. Alright. Speed is almost done for Yuka, so he's going to be the person who really is pushing the tech front in this match. Archive's coming up behind that. Storm is quite a ways off, so it might be best served just getting some Archons. Transferring probes out from his base. Both players are mined out in their mains, which means Yuka's on one mining base. He needs to figure out a way to expand here. Looking at the supplies, actually Muka's managed to take a supply lead. Interesting. I'm guessing that Toka spent a lot of money on a Nexus. Well, if Muka can't do damage with this attack, that Nexus is going to clearly put Toka in the lead, as it's just one base versus two, but Toka's army's not in a good position to defend it, so it looks like it's going to go down. He's coming back now, forcing Muka to engage, but Toka's entire army isn't here, so Muka's going to get a really nice engagement at this point. And, taking some hard hits on those Reavers. He's not microing the Reavers. Okay, now he is picking them up, but there's just so many units in those speed lots. This is what I said when I said... This is what I meant when I said that you need to get some other units in here. Now speed lots are looking pretty dang effective once armies start to get to this size, pushing across those double bridges, and while the rest of the units are getting stuck, it's still overwhelming numbers at this point. That Reaver needs to just micro for his life. Both... one Reaver down... already down. The other Reaver just died. Looks like that Reaver's trying to go in for a little bit of harass here, but almost gets taken out. Doesn't matter though. Muka with so many Dragoons now pushing forward. He hasn't taken out this expansion though, so that's the only worry at this point, but it doesn't matter. Toka GG's, and Muka is 2-0. Dyslexic is 2-0. So, Muka and Dyslexic will advance. Now, there are two more games. Muka versus Dyslexic is the battle between the two players who haven't lost. And Oxy versus Toka is the two players who haven't won. Now, unfortunately, the match between Toka and... the match between Toka and Oxy is a bugged replay. So, we don't want to watch a bugged replay. Apparently it's a long game, though, because it was like a 30-minute replay. But, yeah. Luckily for us, the one that was bugged was the one that doesn't matter. But, at the same time, what are you going to do? So, we will be watching one final game, Muka versus Dyslexic. This does matter for seeding, as the player who goes 3-0 gets an easier opponent moving into the round of 16. So, there is something at stake, even though both of these players will be advancing. Alright. So, going to the final game, Muka versus Dyslexic. I need to wait for the game to come up so I know how to spell Dyslexic again. Alright. ASL DSYXELIC. Boom. And red. Muka's still purple, and we are back on Medusa. So, apparently, Medusa is not a liked map. As we talked about in the first game, it's a map with very open, it's a map with very open chokes to the natural and into the main. So, it can be quite worrying if your opponent goes for a lot of aggression. I don't know why he said it's hard to scout. This is a pretty easy map to scout, unless you mean it's like scouting for proxies. That can be kind of difficult, but no, this is, yeah, you can sneak a probe through the back door. That's why they have minerals there, so you can glitch probes in. It's like easier than most maps to scout. I don't know why he said that. Whatever. Okay, so gateway down for Muka. Dyslexic isn't building a gateway? No, Dyslexic's not building a gateway. Dyslexic Oh boy, Dyslexic's gonna go for a 12 nex on Medusa. That is quite the risky strategy. Huh. And it looks like it's gonna be a 12 next to the back. Okay. That does marginalize the risk a little bit, as you don't have to defend this big choke, you have to defend this smaller choke. But this is still, like, the size of some natural chokes on maps. So this is not without risk. His opponent will certainly scout it out. The probe's a little bit confused, he didn't see anything, but he's going to come up here and see that the Nexus is up there. I don't know if the risk is worth it on this map. But Dyslexic did use 12 next to pretty good effectiveness game 1. And won quite easily with that very fast +1. Oh, we'll see if he does it again. We would expect to see the Forge as the next building. And indeed we do. So yeah, it's going to be the Gateway Forge variety. Alright. So, neither player is going to be able to kill the scouting probe very quickly, although Dyslexic scouting probe is quite late. So, actually the probe from Yuka should be living for quite a while, because that cyber core is so delayed. It hasn't even been started yet. The gas hasn't been taken. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Yuka reacts to this, because there's certainly an opportunity if he wants to go for an attack, like a 3-gate attack, which he used in his first game. It could break it if Dyslexic doesn't know exactly how to defend this. It's very possible. Anyway. Yeah, that's just such a big choke to have to guard. Compared to maps like Fighting Spirit, where the ramp is literally this big, and it's a ramp, it's like this map is ridiculously big on the choke. Oh, Yuka is gonna go for 1-gate Robo. He had the scout there so long, he has to know that his opponent's not going DTs. So I would expect to see some harass, and some harass could be really effective. You know your opponent's not going to have a huge gateway count. You know that Cybercore is really, really late, so they can't have many Dragoons out, and bouncing back and forth from here to here, harassing both of those probe lines, I like that decision. I think that the Reaver could do a lot of damage, and even if you don't want to, his defenses are cannon-based, so you can just attack with the Reaver straight up in the front. I like that decision from Yuka. Oh, I like that decision significantly less. Going for DT drops. Fingers crossed your opponent didn't build cannons beyond this one, which you already know about. Really? Alright. Alright, DT drops. Let's do it. Yeah. So, Dyslexic can build a cannon here pretty easily. I guess he won't be able to get a cannon here, because even if he starts a pylon now, it won't be in time. And his opponent doesn't have an observatory. So, yeah. I guess we're going to punish Dyslexic for being too greedy here. Oh. See, this is why this map is easy to scout, because you glitch a probe through and then you find hidden tech. Oh, man. I don't know why you said that map was hard to scout. Maybe he's just trying to, like, psych out his opponent. It's like, it's super hard. You shouldn't even try to scout me. No, really. Just don't even bother. Just don't look. Oh, he's going to have time to get the cannons down in the main because he got that scout off. But here come the DTs. All the probes need to be pulled, and that is going to shut down mining there. But really, you're just going to oversaturate one base compared to your one base. So you do have a ever so slightly better economy. I don't know if this is going to be able to do enough. I mean, taking out the Nexus is good, but going for that fast DT tech does cost a lot. You're not ahead in economy. You just made it so you're not as behind. You do have better tech, though, and that's nice moving into the later stages of the game compared to your opponent, which has no tech at all. But your opponent has 5 gateways, so as soon as he observers, he can just flood units. I don't know. I liked the Reaver option. The Reaver option seemed a lot better to me. Would have came out faster, too. Well, Nexus down, Pylon down. And it looks like he's going to try to take an expansion of his own. But he really needs more units. I mean, he's relying on a DT here to defend, but as soon as an Observer comes out, that's not going to be that effective. An Observer isn't too far away at this point. Dyslexic can mass up a pretty big army in the meantime. He's going to put cannons down to make this expansion safe. And that expansion is not at all very far behind Muka's. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yuka does have the bigger army because despite Dyslexic having a higher supply, you have to remember that there is a huge probe oversaturation here compared to Muka's. So Muka does have the larger army. He doesn't have enough gas. Oops. Well, we'll get the Observer out eventually. I think he made like a round of goons, and then, yeah, he made a round of goons. I forgot about the gas. Well, he's going to transfer probes over, and he is taking the natural gas. So both players, like, with identical probe transfer times. I don't know, they're on very even economic footing. Dyslexic does have a very slight advantage just because he has better saturation. The tech in a little bit of favor of Muka. He does have Templar tech. However much he's going to use that Templar tech is yet to be seen. He also has Zealot chilling back here, which is cool. And it looks like this is going to be the attack from Dyslexic. DT coming out, immediately taken out. He had no chance to see that there were cannons here, so didn't know that the DT wasn't going to be able to do anything anyway, but we'll be able to see the army. And, ooh, he wanted to go for some Storm Draw, so that Templar needs to be taken back, because he needs to defend right now. He has significantly fewer goons. Uh-oh. Dyslexic going in for the attack. Okay, this pylon's going to be taken down pretty quickly. It's not going to stall him too much. Alright, Money Storm, here we go. You have one Templar with one Storm. How good? Oh, it's gonna die. Okay. No Storm. That's fine. It's fine. Muka actually has a pretty good goon count, and Dyslexic's running away with half of his goons, so Muka's fine. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Right? Right? Yeah, it's okay. If those 3 Dragoons had been there, Muka would not have essentially traded. He would have lost really badly. But because Dyslexic Army ran away, it's fine. It's fine. Muka's gonna win this. Muka survives the attack. Dyslexic's gonna move in again. Yeah, but no, he's not. He's gonna wait for more reinforcements. Only ahead by 7 supply, and snipes the shuttle, moving in with 4 goons. Muka realizing he actually has more, can advance here, and 1-for-1 trade before Dyslexic backs off once again. Once again we have the Templar out. Does he? I hope he has Storm. Maybe he just didn't get the Storm off because he didn't have it, which is possible. I don't know why he was loading a Templar into a shuttle if he didn't have Storm, but. No, Dyslexic's gonna flood goons off of 5 gateways. He just has no tech. No tech, that's fine. It's probably not gonna be for Templars, it's probably just gonna be for speed. Alright. A little dueling action. Zealot versus Dragoon. And the Dragoon's gonna lose. Oh, alright, now we're gonna micro. Speed is done from Yuka, though. But Dyslexic has 1-1. And better upgrades was how he won the first game. So 1-1 versus no upgrades from Yuka, and is that +1 just started? Yeah, that's +1 just started. So Yeah, Dyslexic's gonna have the nice upgrade advantage for quite a while here. No, he's not getting any more. Oh, he doesn't have the Templar Archives. He can't get any more upgrades. He might actually be getting the Templar Archives to get better upgrades. That's like a not ridiculous possibility here. Not completely ridiculous, anyway. So, Muka has a very Templar-heavy army. An Archon, 3 High Templar, and a Dark Templar somewhere. Storm has to be done. There's no way it could be this late, and he has that many Templar. So, if he can get some really good Storms off, he could do a lot of damage here, but that is a lot of Dragoons from Dyslexic. He needs to get some really good Storms off. And Dyslexic now incorporating in some other units. Nope, it's not. Okay. So, the Templar Archives was for Archons and DTs, apparently, because you're not researching Storm. And here comes the engagement, actually. Storm going down on some of the front Dragoons. Not the best Storm. I don't know why he's engaging. Muka, does he not realize that he has, like, a third of the Dragoons? Okay, that one was a pretty good Storm, but he's going to lose all of his Templar. What? What? Did he just, like, not count? He had an observer sitting over the Dragoons. He knew he was outnumbered 3-1. He didn't care, man. Just a fearless Muka, man. Going in with that Polish pride. It's like he channeled his inner Poland and he attacked tanks with cavalry. That's exactly what happened there. He used the cavalry that was High Templar and they just kind of tickled the Dragoons. And then the Dragoons killed him. Then the Dragoons killed him. Yeah, that... I cannot explain why he attacked there. I do not know why at all, but Dyslexic's just going to kill him. GG. Alright. So, that is the last ASL cast. But don't go away, because ISL starts in like 3 minutes. Man, this was timed awesomely. Alright. So, thank you to the organizer, Shimmy. Thank you to the sponsors, Noise and Sail. And yeah, ISL starts immediately, so don't go anywhere. I'm gonna get AWA on the call.